Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. On the table in front of us today is not a new knife, really, but certainly new to me. This was sent along so that I could review it, and for that I am very grateful. I'm also a little angry because I'm going to have to get one at some point. That's just going to have to happen. This is the Spyderco Spydiechef. This is an astonishing pocket knife. The same guy designed this that designed the Sleech Bowie and the Techno 2 and some other knives for Spyderco. But unlike many of those, this one's only about $225. And while that sounds like a lot, let's talk about what you get. You get an LC200N blade, which is completely corrosion resistant. You get all titanium build, you get corrosion resistant hardware, you get a corrosion resistance clip. This is a wet weather, nasty weather knife, but really what it is, as it says in the name, Spydiechef, it is designed to be a folding kitchen implement, and it is really good at that. Look, I have a lot of pocket knives. You guys know that. 140 or so. This is one of the best slicers I've ever had right out of the box. No additional sharpening necessary, no reprofiling the edge, none of that nonsense needed to happen. This thing came out of the box that was loaned to me. I happened to have a whole bunch of cardboard laying around. I went to town on it, and this thing went through cardboard like it was warm butter, and didn't miss a step. It is comfortable. It is attractive. I mean, maybe not for everybody, but certainly for me. The blade shape is perfect for EDC. I'm a fan. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm a fan. Look, I know you've heard a lot of this before. This knife's been around a while, but I just never managed to get my hands on one. And as you guys know, in order for me to review knives, there are some companies like Artisan and some Best Tech and certainly Concept, who are willing and friendly enough to send me along knives to review. But for the most part, to land on my channel, I have to either be able to borrow one from somebody or I have to be able to buy one. And I just never really had the opportunity with one of these before, and I am very happy that that has changed. My wallet's going to be a little pissed off. This comes out of their Taichung, Taiwan plant. The fit and finish on this one is exceptionally good. The grind is dead even on both sides of the LC200N blade. I don't know if you heard that or not. There is a little bit of lock stick because it's straight titanium on LC200N, so you get a little pop, but nothing worse than I got with my older gen Chris Reeves and stuff like that. And I think that will probably go away with a little bit of wear. This knife is thin. It is light. It is very sharp. And I'm telling you, this is a superb everyday carry pocket knife built for crappy weather and bad, nasty environments. I'm totally blown away. Let's do some size comparisons. Here it is against the Benchmade Bug Out, which I have been using. Excuse the schmutz. There it is against the Bug Out. As you can see, it is not an enormous knife. If we line this up this way, you get a fair amount more cutting on the Spydiechef and a little more handle. But overall, it's just a really nicely sized EDC knife. Now, you guys know I prefer big knives. This manages to cut like and carry like a really, it carries like a small knife, but it cuts like a big knife. And part of that is all of that sort of kitchen-oriented belly right there. This thing is a marvel for doing up close and fine work, and it has just enough of a tip that you can do push cuts and then draw cuts with it. Man, yeah, I know. I'm fanboying really hard on this thing, but I got to tell you, they built a good one. So let's go ahead and do it up against something a little bigger. Here it is, of course, against the Rat Model 1. This, of course, is the BJ Hill of Hilltop Knives and Gear modified version, the Spidey Rat, which I thought made a lot of sense considering I'm looking at a Spyderco. And as you can see, it is, although as always when dealing with the Rats, you get a considerable more amount of blade of cutting surface, but it's just much smaller. God, this is a good knife. It really, really is an exceptional piece of hardware. Just, am really in love with it. What else can we compare it against? What else is on the table? Well, I mean, you guys have seen basic size-wise. Here it is against the 0562, the ZT, a personal favorite of mine. And again, it is a smaller knife, but you get just about the same amount of grip area as you do on the 0562. Speaking of all that area, let's take a look at how much you actually get. You get 1, 2, 3, just under 3.5 inches of LC200N on just under 3.5 inches of LC200N, depending on where you measure from, right? Nothing interferes with the cutting path, of course, except the Spydie deployment hole. The grip area, from just behind that rise right there, you get 1, 2, 3, and 3/4 and 4 out to the very end. It fits my hand like it was built for it. If it was any shorter, it would be too small, but it isn't, and I've got monster hands, so I can generally guarantee this is going to fit comfortably in anyone's hand. The overall knife from tip to tail, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just under 8, 7 and 3/4 plus a little bit. Look, this is a marvelously sized knife. It is, as I've mentioned, very thin. Mine, of course, came just dead centered right from, well, it came from the factory this way because I know, because the person who owns it hasn't had it very long. So it came dead centered. No flaws, no scratches, no bumps, no dings. It's just really very good. Speaking of how narrow it is, let's go ahead and use a tool to determine, not that I'm a tool, but you might think so. The LC200N blade is back here at its very thickest spot, is 3 millimeters, right? Got a nice high flat grind, so it comes down to a very nice edge. The handle itself at its thickest, and because it is slab-sided, there is no wider spot, you can pick anywhere you want, is 10 millimeters, 3/10 of an inch, almost 4/10 of an inch, so under a ½ inch. What a remarkable tool. I have a funny relationship with Spydercos. I didn't want to collect them when I first started collecting because everybody had them and everybody loved them. And now I've got about 15 of the things because they make just damn good knives. It's almost irritating. I have the Spyderco Paisan, which is not out. One of their sort of higher end knives, Rossetti design. Very expensive. It's a wrestling match to determine if you're getting enough knife for that kind of money with the Paisan. But this is worth every penny. This is now one of the knives that I readily, my poor puppy is coughing. This is now one of the knives that I will readily suggest to people who ask me, hey man, I'm looking to spend a couple $100, you know, what should I get? This, instantly one of the suggestions. The completely corrosion-free blade mixed with its ability to handle wet and muck and yet have a ton of style doing it. It is, well, it's a great knife. Let's weigh it out just for fun. We do that here. It's, remember, just a little under 3.5 inch blade. It is 3.7 ounces, which for a full titanium build ain't bad. I have Chavez's and I've had Chris Reeves, and I've got, well, look, Striders and Hinderers and all that stuff. I do. This is on par with all of those. It just is. Now, some of you are very married to the Made in America idea. Look, I totally get and understand and respect that. This won't be the knife for you, but for the rest of you who are maybe looking to move up into the $200, $250 knife range, but in that area there are literally thousands of knives. What would you pick? Well, if you asked me a week ago, I would have had a whole bunch of different suggestions. If you asked me today, the Spyderco Spydiechef would be on the top of the list. It is a superb pocket knife from Spyderco. And that's where we're going to end it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. I hope you guys are having just a great week, whatever day you happen to see this on. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.